All right, now that we have looked at the theoretical part of user experience and user experience research, we are going to look at an actual project in the second part of the course. We will now present the main steps of a significant design project. Using what you have learned so far in the course, you will be able to interpret, understand, and analyze the process displayed by this design project. The project will be presented as a series of milestones, from initial concept through to a finished prototype. We will present a project that displays a solution to a problem outline in a design challenge. The project presented follows a process, presents deliverables, and meets required challenge criteria. The project involves the design of a website. The website may be referred to as a product or a system in subsequent discussions. The project doesn't require any programming implementation, and as such, you don't need to worry about the need to understand the specifics of various programming languages or other technologies. So let's begin. The first step in understanding design projects is to understand that a design project has several requirements. When creating a design project, one needs to understand that it has a target population that needs to be defined, needs to be addressed, how the system will address those needs, why the system is better than what users are doing now. If you are new to design projects, you could consider gaining some experience by offering small companies who are unfamiliar with solving design challenges some design services. You could benefit from solving small-scale design challenges, and you can gain some valuable experience along the way. To solve a design challenge, some work needs to be done in terms of analysis and research. First, the target population and the problem need to be defined. Solving a design problem involves figuring out the user population in question and identifying a challenge or problem to solve. Second, a project brief needs to be created. A project brief is simply a description of the essential elements of a project that need to be accomplished. It is simply a document which communicates clearly why the design is required and what goals it will achieve. It also contains a bit of research on attributes of competing systems. Last, a needs-finding study needs to be designed. You won't actually conduct the study in the first phase, but the materials to implement the study will need to be developed. As a UX expert, you will have a rough idea of what needs current users have and approximately what kind of system that will solve the problem. It is useful to know what problems to focus on and to ensure that the problems chosen are actually real problems. UX research process will ensure that the problems are selected correctly and that the questions are answered correctly. UX research will provide good answers to the problems discovered. The best way to start is to talk to some users who may have the problem or a need. Look to find out how they address their needs. Then ask yourself, is it an actual need or an actual problem? How are they going about to meet this need? You need to find out how they solve the problems in order to be able to develop an idea of whether or not an opportunity to make the process better exists. The more information you can get from the users in regards to the problem and the problem-solving methods, the more the understanding and support evidence you will be able to put together as to why it is important to address it. Specifically, 2 activities are performed during needs assessment study: interviews and observation. Interviews are when the researcher asks users questions. Observations are when the researcher watches users perform actions on a system. Common to the UX research process is to include both the interview and observation as part of one session. This allows the UX researcher to get a view of the needs, but also to see actual examples of the activities, how and why they are done the way they are. Each session should take anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. The steps involved in performing these activities need to be thought of ahead of time, and then the activities need to be scheduled and conducted. Now, the UX researcher will need to have some project management skills. The UX researcher needs to plan the recruiting and scheduling strategy for the needs assessment study. For example, how does one find users? How does one know that these users are actually part of the required target population? How will one get in touch or stay in touch with the users? All of these activities require good project planning, monitoring, and execution. So, phase 1 of a UX research design project consists of creating an interview script where the goals of the study are written down, as well as the questions necessary to satisfy those goals. To make everything clear, we're going to show you sample design problem definition, project brief, schedule, and needs finding study. To summarize, as part of the phase 1 of user experience applied research and design project. First, the scope and design problem are explained. Second, the project brief defines certain metrics, such as population. Informal interviews can be used to help find the specific users. Problem. What user needs will be addressed, what activities will be pursued. Competitive analysis is basically looking and researching competitors. Improvement goals is about how the system will improve things for users. Third, the schedule demonstrates a typical work plan. Fourth, the needs finding study demonstrates goals, recruitment strategy, and interview protocol. Now that we've defined the first phase of a UX research and design project, it's time to review a sample phase 1 report. In the next section, we will outline the project details for a project called Simplified Investment Interface with Professional Data. Again, the phase 1 report will consist of 3 sections: a design brief, a work schedule, and a needs finding study plan. Reviewing the report will give you a good sense of the type of information which must be included and how that information needs to be structured in order to implement a professional UX research project. Now let's go to that first report.